All right, so welcome back. Of course, today's book review segment, we're diving into Neo and Luyanda by Anele Matshisi. It's a beautifully written contemporary South African romance that explores romantic connections, but so much more. It's a story about identity, compromise, ambition, and how two seemingly different lives can come together to form something real powerful, but also new. And so this morning, perhaps to chat a little bit further about this offering, we're going to be joined by author Anele Matshisi, of course, here. So on that note, let's dive in. Good morning, and thank you for your offering. I congratulated you because I said this is a poignant storytelling moment for all of us, and so much of these themes were deeply personal, and you were able, I was able to connect, even if I want to start off with Neo, actually, because Neo's ambitious, it's magnetic, right? We all understand that the power of that energy, but obviously when you do the inner work and you face yourself, you also realize that, or I question whether she was running away from something, right? Was she trying to distract herself to avoid the loneliness? And I wonder if you could speak to that character development ultimately, and how it was playing out in your own life, that you would have been able to translate it so well for Neo.
All right. No, thank you very much. I think for starters, when it came to the characters, one of the things that I just wanted to do, there's a saying that I normally use that says that listening is a function of the ear, but hearing is a purpose of the heart. And so as a writer, I wanted to make each and every person who reads the book not only feel seen, heard, but also feel understood. So when I was developing the character, Neo, most of the times, when we look at upwardly mobile South African women, regardless of the class background, what we discover is that women have to go through an either-or scenario. You're either a successful person or you're either a homemaker. But with Neo, she gets to walk the balance of both. And so what I was doing when I was developing not only Neo's character but all the characters in the book was that I wanted to capture the moment or create this intentional moment where I play into healthy love, and most importantly, the complexities of healthy love, because there's an assumption that healthy love is not complex. It's easy love, but it's actually complex because
it's layered and nuanced. And I actually want to get into that because upon meeting Luyanda, obviously two different worlds colliding, right? And Luyanda's emptiness is actually presence. It's stillness, and it's to your point in that hustle and bustle. You can see that complexity playing out, and Neo having to embrace her softness as well, and embracing that safe space, which is what you speak about, this healthy love. Talk to us about how intentional we were in creating that contrast for the two as well, and embracing that new world.
It was necessary because one, I wanted to tell the story with a certain level of emotional depth. So especially when it comes to a masculine identity. So for example, the introduction that we have of who Luyanda is, for example, what you just described is this quiet, calm character, but in actual sense, he's a different expression of masculinity. So for example, we use our masculine traits as men for competition. That's how we keep going. That's how we stay alive. That's how we protect the people around us. But masculinity is far more comprehensive than that. So in his character, I then project masculinity as a supporting tool. So in other words, he's the anchor, he's the sense of stability in Neo's busy world.
Yeah, and it's also the contrast of choosing peace over pride, right? And compromise, that was also something, because you're speaking about hearing with the heart and listening. And that's also how one navigates relationships at large, right? Yeah.
It's a constant work in progress. And also, love is a conversation. That's one of the things that I learned. We don't arrive at it. It's an ongoing conversation. We continue to have the conversation the same way that we continue to work on ourselves. And the beauty of lifelong love is that we get to be a part of our partner's evolution, their growth, their confusion, their disorientation, their successes, and so forth, and sometimes their grief. And so the book plays into that. And one of the contrasts that I play into in the book is the theme of broken healers, and that's necessary in our times because it's easy for us to look the part. You know, we're perfect, we're strong, we're the friend that everyone runs to. But in private, we have our own fracturing that we are working through. And so in the book, I constructively play into that. But most importantly, from a South African perspective as well, I was just... A big part of me was jealous when I was writing that. I was jealous in a sense that, you know, oftentimes when we project South African life, you know, we project it in this light that if it's love and relationships, it does not work. If it is South Africa, just the scenery or the landscape of our land, it's projected in this light. Some stuff is broken. So in the book, I wanted us to see ourselves that, hey, we are more than this, you know. So that's why I insisted on writing the characters with a sense of dignity and empowerment, but most importantly, also even the South African landscape itself, I showcase its beauty through the book.
Yeah, because in South Africa, we're an eclectic mix of people, right? And so the interplay of race, of class, gender, obviously coming through. Even just to your point about how important support is as well. The quote, I wrote it down here. Joburg taught her how to climb, but Cape Town taught her how to breathe. Yes. And that's slowing down. I mean, anything that slows you down is a gift as well. Anything that healed what's inside of you through penning thoughts to paper as well? I mean, are you able to also look at people who would have encompassed this role in your own life or been that mirror for you?
Oh, no, definitely. You know, the book in itself for me it felt like breathing. You know, it felt like breathing. And the funny thing is with the book itself, I have written 2 books and written and completed 2 books. And I decided I'm just going to put this one out first. And because a lot of it was a reflection of who I am, what I am, and how I felt, but most importantly, in how I was processing the world. Because my view is that people are a library. You know, I like books. People like books, and the world is our library. You know, so if you look at people like that, you realize that everyone around you has something to teach you.
Absolutely, and it's also about that revolution of love and unifying. And I think that was the core of the message as well. Which, well, for me at least. And I wonder if you want people to walk away with anything. What is that for you going forward? Does the story continue as well?
No, definitely. The story continues, definitely. The story continues, and what I would like people to take away from the book is that there is still beauty in the world, and there is still beauty in us as well, as individuals. And in as much as we are constantly bombarded by oppositional messaging, there's something wrong with men, there's something wrong with women, but there is still beauty in the world, and there's still beauty in simplicity as well.
Anele, there's so much more. I had to condense, you know, for this chat, but thank you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your offering as well. Obviously, much celebrated contemporary South African work of fiction. It was brought forth by Anele Matshisi, of course, through a new book, Neo Luyanda. Thank you again for joining us and for unpacking it here on this book review segment. As we leave that conversation there, we're going to continue with a conversation of a different kind.